Kangaroo rat. Picture an animal that's never taken a single sip of water in its entire life. The kangaroo rat, native to the deserts of North America, including Death Valley, goes from birth to death without drinking. Instead, it produces water internally through metabolic water production. When it eats dry seeds, its body breaks down the carbohydrates and fats, combining hydrogen from these nutrients with oxygen from the air it breathes to create H2O during cellular respiration. This process generates enough water to keep the animal hydrated indefinitely. The kangaroo rat's kidneys are so efficient they produce urine 5 times more concentrated than human urine, meaning almost no water is wasted. Their nasal passages capture moisture from exhaled air before it leaves the body, recycling water that would otherwise be lost. Even their burrows are sealed during the day to maintain humidity and prevent water loss through breathing. A kangaroo rat can survive on seeds containing less than 10% moisture while living in temperatures exceeding 120 degrees Fahrenheit. This adaptation evolved because desert water sources can be hundreds of miles apart, and rainfall happens maybe once or twice a year. Any animal requiring drinking water would simply die in these conditions. Evolution solved this problem by creating a biological system that manufactures water from food. Thorny Devil. Deep in the Australian outback lives a lizard covered in sharp, intimidating spikes. The Thorny Devil has evolved a skin system that channels water directly to its mouth without ever needing to drink from puddles or streams. The entire surface of its body is covered in hygroscopic grooves, tiny channels between scales that use capillary action to move water. When the Thorny Devil walks through morning dew or encounters rare desert rain, moisture collects on its skin, and these grooves automatically transport the water toward its mouth. It doesn't need to bend down or lap water like other animals. The lizard just stands there, and its skin does the work. This system evolved because the Australian desert rarely has standing water, and morning dew plus brief rain showers are often the only moisture available. The Thorny Devil adapted to harvest water from sources other animals can't access. The grooves work even when the lizard steps in damp sand, drawing moisture upward against gravity through pure capillary physics. These lizards can also bury themselves partially in sand overnight, allowing condensation to form on their bodies, which then gets channeled to their mouths by sunrise. Their skin essentially functions as a distributed drinking system covering every inch of their body. This means they're never more than a skin cell away from their water source. Arabian Oryx. The Arabian Oryx has one of the most extreme physiological adaptations in the mammal world for water-free survival. When water becomes scarce, this antelope literally shrinks its liver and heart by up to 20% to reduce metabolic demands and water consumption. This isn't damage or starvation, it's a controlled biological response that reverses when conditions improve. The oryx obtains all moisture from plants it eats, is foraging during cooler morning hours when vegetation contains the highest water content from overnight condensation. Its body tolerates internal temperatures reaching 100 to 16 degrees Fahrenheit, well above what would kill most mammals, which eliminates the need for water wasting, evaporative cooling through sweating or panting. The reason this adaptation developed ties directly to the Arabian desert's extreme conditions, where temperatures swing from near freezing at night to scorching during the day, and rainfall might not occur for years. The oryx's digestive system extracts maximum moisture from desert plants before expelling waste. Its white coat reflects sunlight during the day and provides insulation at night, minimizing water loss from temperature regulation. These animals can detect rain from over 50 miles away and will travel for days to reach fresh vegetation that sprouts after storms. Their nasal passages contain complex turbinate structures that cool exhaled air and condense water vapor before it escapes, recycling moisture back into the body. Dromedary Camel. Everyone knows camels survive without drinking, but the actual mechanisms are way more sophisticated than people realize. The dromedary camel has evolved arguably the most advanced water conservation system in the mammalian world, allowing it to go weeks or even months without drinking. When a camel gets dehydrated, its red blood cells remain functional even after losing up to 40% of body water, a level that would kill virtually any other mammal. The secret lies in the oval shape of their blood cells. Unlike round human cells, which allows them to flow through thickened, dehydrated blood without clumping, the camel's nasal passages contain turbinate bones with massive surface area that capture up to 66% of moisture from exhaled air, recycling it back into the body instead of losing it to the environment. When a camel finally finds water, it can drink 30 gallons in 13 minutes without suffering water intoxication. The hump stores up to 80 pounds of fat that metabolizes into water when food is scarce, with every 100 grams of fat producing about 107 grams of water through oxidation. This system evolved because ancestral camels in the Arabian Peninsula and North Africa faced environments where the water sources were separated by weeks of travel. Their body temperature fluctuates from 93 degrees at night to 106 degrees during the day, reducing the need for evaporative cooling that wastes water. The kidneys produce extremely concentrated urine, and their feces are so dry they can be burned immediately as fuel. Naked mole rat. Beneath the deserts of East Africa lives one of the strangest mammals on the planet. The naked mole rat spends its entire life underground and never drinks water, obtaining all necessary moisture from the roots and tubers it eats. These animals have evolved metabolic water production so efficient they survive on plant matter, containing minimal moisture while living in sealed burrows with almost no ambient humidity. Their kidneys produce incredibly concentrated waste, and they have virtually no water loss through skin because they lack the sweat glands present in most mammals. Naked mole rats are eusocial, living in colonies with a queen and workers, and the entire colony survives without any individual ever drinking. The tunnels they inhabit can extend for over 2 miles underground, and they seal chambers to maintain specific humidity levels that prevent respiratory water loss. This adaptation evolved because East African soil is hard-packed and impermeable, meaning water doesn't penetrate to the depths where these animals live. Surface water sources would require exposure to predators, extreme heat, and energy expenditure that would offset any benefits. The naked mole rat's metabolism is adapted to low oxygen environments, another consequence of sealed burrow living, which ties into their water-free survival strategy. They don't regulate body temperature like other mammals, instead relying on behavioral thermoregulation and the stable underground environment to avoid water loss from cooling mechanisms. Their entire biological system is optimized for extracting moisture from food and retaining every drop. By the way, if you're enjoying learning about these incredible survival adaptations, I post content like this regularly. I'd appreciate if you subscribed. Thanks. Addax Antelope. The addax, sometimes called the white antelope, has evolved to extract every drop of moisture from desert vegetation, never requiring standing water even in the Sahara's most brutal conditions. This antelope is critically endangered with fewer than 100 individuals remaining in the wild. Its digestive system breaks down tough, dry desert grasses and extracts maximum moisture content, while its metabolism produces additional water through fat oxidation in specialized tissues. The addax has the lowest water requirements of any large mammal relative to body size, needing only the moisture contained in sparse plants it grazes. During the hottest parts of the day, its coat reflects sunlight and its body temperature rises to reduce the temperature gradient between internal and external environments, which minimizes sweating and water loss. At night, the coat provides heat retention when desert temperatures plummet. This species evolved in the Central Sahara, where annual rainfall can be less than 1 inch per year and surface water is essentially non-existent for months or years. The addax is broad, but flat hooves prevent sinking into soft sand, allowing it to travel vast distances searching for vegetation that springs up after rare desert rains. Its nasal passages are structured to recover moisture from exhaled air, and its kidneys concentrate urine to levels that minimize water waste. The addax's rumen, the first chamber of its stomach, has adapted to extract maximum moisture from fibrous desert plants before digestion even begins. This pre-digestion moisture extraction is more efficient than in cattle or other grazing animals. Mongolian Gerbil. In the steppes and deserts of Mongolia and northern China, the Mongolian Gerbil has evolved one of the most efficient water conservation systems among small mammals. These rodents produce urine so concentrated it's almost paste-like, but with waste products condensed to levels that would cause kidney failure in most other animals. The evolutionary pressure is clear. In desert environments where the water sources are scarce and unpredictable, losing water through urination is fatal. Gerbils extract moisture from seeds, roots, and insects, and their digestive tracts absorb maximum water content from food before waste is expelled. Their feces contain less than 5% moisture compared to 20 to 40% in animals with regular water access. The gerbil's burrow system maintains humidity levels much higher than outside desert air, which reduces respiratory water loss when the animal is underground. At night, when they're most active, humidity in their tunnels can reach levels 3 times higher than surface air. Their kidneys have evolved elongated loops of Henle, the structures responsible for concentrating urine, which are proportionally longer than those in rats or mice that live near water. This allows them to reabsorb almost all water from kidney filtrate before the waste leaves the body. Gerbils also have specialized nasal turbinates that cool exhaled air and condense water vapor before it escapes, recycling moisture that would otherwise be lost. In laboratory settings, gerbils survive indefinitely on dry seeds alone without any supplemental water, proving their adaptation isn't behavioral preference but biological necessity. Desert tortoise. Across the Mojave and Sonoran deserts, the desert tortoise has evolved a survival strategy that sounds more like engineering than biology. This reptile stores water in its bladder for up to a year, essentially carrying its own reservoir through extended droughts. When rain finally comes, a desert tortoise can drink up to 40% of its body weight in a single session, filling its bladder to capacity. The incredible part is that unlike mammals, the tortoise reabsorbs water from its bladder back into its bloodstream during dry periods, something that would cause severe electrolyte imbalances in most animals. This bladder storage system evolved because desert tortoises face some of the longest dry periods of any terrestrial reptile, sometimes going 18 months or more without access to standing water. During drought, they obtain minimal moisture from desert vegetation like cacti and wildflowers, but the bulk of hydration comes from stored reserves. The tortoise spends up to 95% of its life underground in burrows that maintain higher humidity and cooler temperatures than the surface, dramatically reducing water loss. Their metabolism slows to near hibernation levels during the hottest summer months, a state called estivation, which further reduces water requirements. Desert tortoises excrete nitrogenous waste as uric acid rather than urea, which requires far less water to process and eliminate. Their kidneys produce waste that's highly concentrated, minimizing water loss. This species can survive losing up to 40% of its body weight through dehydration and fully recover when water becomes available. Fennec Fox. The smallest fox species on Earth has some of the largest ears relative to body size, and those ears are crucial for water-free survival. The fennec fox inhabits the Sahara Desert and obtains all necessary moisture from its prey, primarily insects, rodents, and birds, without ever drinking water. Those enormous ears contain an extensive network of blood vessels positioned close to the skin surface, and as hot blood flows through them, heat dissipates into the cooler night air. This thermoregulation reduces the need for panting and sweating, both of which cause significant water loss. The fennec is nocturnal specifically because hunting at night minimizes heat exposure and reduces metabolic demand for evaporative cooling. Its kidneys are extremely efficient, producing highly concentrated urine that preserves water while eliminating waste. The fox's thick fur coat insulates against daytime heat when the animal sleeps in its burrow and provides warmth during freezing desert nights. This dual insulation reduces the energy and water needed for temperature regulation. Fennec foxes dig extensive burrow systems in sand dunes, creating dens that maintain stable temperatures and higher humidity than the surface, which minimizes respiratory water loss. This species evolved extreme water independence because the Sahara has virtually no surface water, and prey animals contain the only reliable moisture source. Their diet of insects like locusts and beetles, small rodents, birds, and eggs provide enough moisture when combined with their efficient water retention systems. The fennec's respiratory system extracts maximum oxygen while minimizing water vapor loss. Sandgrouse Species. In the deserts of Africa, the Middle East, and Asia, sandgrouse have evolved to survive on dry seeds without drinking water for extended periods. Adult sandgrouse obtain nearly all their moisture from seeds and occasional insects, with digestive systems that extract maximum water content from this dry diet. They have extremely efficient kidneys that concentrate urine to levels approaching that of raptors, minimizing water waste from their seed-based diet. The birds feed primarily on dry seeds from desert grasses and shrubs, which contain minimal moisture, but their digestive systems are specialized to absorb every available drop before waste is expelled. Sandgrouse also have specialized salt glands near their nostrils that excrete excess salt, while allowing them to drink from brackish water sources that would be toxic to most birds when water is occasionally encountered. This means, even when they do drink, they can utilize water sources other species can't access. The species' ability to survive on dry seeds for months at a time represents one of evolution's most creative solutions to desert life. Their digestive tract has a specialized crop and gizzard that mechanically and chemically breaks down seeds to maximum efficiency, extracting moisture that other birds would simply pass through their systems. Male sandgrouse have evolved specially adapted belly feathers that can hold water like a sponge, which they use to carry water to their chicks. But the adults themselves rarely drink, relying on metabolic water from seed digestion. Their feathers have a unique structure with barbules that coil in a helical pattern, creating a capillary system for the rare occasions when water transport is needed. If this sparked your curiosity about extreme animal adaptations, consider subscribing so you don't miss future content. Thanks for watching.